Alright, today we're going to go over just the air brakes. Okay, I'm going to explain it a little bit more into detail. Okay, now there are certain ways that you need to do your air brakes inspection when you take your test at the DMV. Okay, for those of you that are first learning how to do your air brakes, there is a real easy way to remember what test is next and what the tests are, okay, and how to perform those tests. The easiest way to do it, to remember that, is remember the name of the test, why you're doing the test, the reason for it, and the PSI for the test. Okay? So we'll start off with the very first test. Okay? Your air gauge and governor cutoff test. Okay? So there's the name of the test, air gauge and governor cutoff. Okay, so now the reason for you want to do that test is to make sure that your air gauges build properly. Okay, and your governor cuts out where it's supposed to. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to more than likely have a full tank of air or a full system of air when you start your test, which will be anywhere between 120 and 140. Okay? So, you're going to deplete your air by fanning your brakes down to just below 100. Okay? 80, 90 psi is fine. Okay? So, you don't have to take your air all the way down. Just about 80 or 90 psi is fine. Okay, the DMV examiners don't want to be sitting there for a long time waiting for your air to build up. So you're going to deplete your air down to just about 80 or 90 right in here, and that'll be fine. Okay, then you're going to start your truck up and accelerate your RPMs to no more than 1200. Okay, and your 1200 mark is right there. Okay, that white line right there, that's your 1200 mark. Okay, the reason you want to do that is it's going to keep your stress off your engine, and it's going to help you save a little bit of fuel. Okay, the more stress you put on your engine, the more fuel your truck is going to use. So you don't want to really bring your RPMs up any higher than your 1200 mark right there. Okay? And then you're going to build your air all the way till your governor cuts out, and you want to let them know that it's going to cut out in the form of a sneeze. Okay? Which it will. Anywhere between 120 and 140. Okay? So, now you've got a whole system filled with air. Okay? Now the easiest way to remember what test is next is look at your primary gauge right here. Look at your primary gauge. Okay? With a full system of air, your needle is going to be right up in here. Okay? So your next test is going to be your leakage rate test, which in the truck I'm in right now is going to bring your needle down to here, down to about your 100 mark, if it reads in the same increments that I have here, because these air gauges read in increments of 40 from 0 to 180. Okay, and as you can see, there's your 60 mark and there's your 20 mark. So 20 plus 40 is 60, plus 40 is 100, plus 40 is 140. So you can see that it does read in increments of 40. Okay, and one thing that the DMV is going to be looking for when you take your test and do your air brake test is that you know how to read your gauges. Okay, so Your next test is going to be your leakage rate test, which is in this truck will bring it down to about 100. Okay. Your next test is going to be your air warning system test. Okay. I'm sorry, not system, air warning device test. Okay. Meaning your lights and your buzzer. You do have to have both of those. Okay. Every truck is going to have a warning light system here. This Volvo has 2 lights for each gauge, plus it has a stoplight here. Okay? It has a stoplight. So, you're going to fan your brakes down till these lights come on. Now, in this truck, the buzzer won't sound unless the engine is running, and you need to let the DMV examiner know that. Okay? Because if you don't, they may think that the buzzer is not operating, and it does need to operate. You need to have a visual and an audio alarm letting you know that your air is getting low. Okay? So you're going to fan your brakes until these lights come on. Okay? Okay? So that's going to bring, in this truck, that's going to bring your gauge needles down from here to here. Okay? Right in here. And then your next test is going to be your emergency brake test. Okay? That's going to bring your needle from here down to almost nothing. Okay? So if you can see the pattern, okay, you're going to start way up here and then slowly work your needle down to almost nothing. So it's going to go your air gauge and governor cutoff, your leakage rate test, your air warning device test, your emergency brake test. Okay? So if you have any problems remembering what test is next, look at your air gauge, your primary air gauge. That will tell you everything you need to know. Okay? Just remember the order of the tests. Okay? So, that order again, air gauge and governor cutoff, your air leakage rate test, your air warning device test, and your emergency brake test. For your last 2 air brake tests, you really don't need to worry about your air gauges, okay? Just as long as your air stays up above 100, you'll be fine. Okay, you don't need to read your gauges. You don't need to deplete any air or recharge your air system any. Okay, because all you're going to be doing is you're going to be testing your parking brake and your trailer brake. Okay, to make sure that they hold separately. And then after that is your service brake test, which is going to basically, it's not basically, all you're doing is you're making sure that your service brake is working properly. Okay? You don't need to worry about your gauges. Okay? Now when you do start your test, okay, you want to let them know how your gauges read. Like I said, in this truck, it reads from 0 to 180 in increments of 40. Okay? So, a very important thing you want to do is you want to learn to read your gauges. Okay? So, let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay? So, there's your gauges. Right here. You got primary is always going to be for your tractor. Okay? And your secondary is always going to be for your trailer. Okay? And as you can see, primary right here is even with your tractor, and your secondary right here is even with your trailer. Okay? And it's always going to be like that. Now, I have noticed that a lot of people, a lot of my students, have a problem remembering tractor brake and trailer brake. Okay? They'll try and set both. Okay? Parking brake. That's called a parking brake for a reason. Your parking brake, when you pull this brake knob out to set your brakes, it will also set your trailer brakes. Okay? So, your parking brake, your trailer brake. And that should be about all the explanation I really need to give in this video. Okay? So if you like this video and it's been instructional for you, please smash that like button. And if you want more content from me, please subscribe. And since this is a brand new channel, I am encouraging you to share the video with anybody that is thinking about going into a truck driving school, being a truck driver. Hopefully this will help. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. Okay? Have a great day.